Jungkook, I'm going to kiss you. Stop me if you don't want it. Vine swore she felt an emotion so strong she thought her heart might melt away. It was the look in his eyes which meant sincerity, or the closeness between the two that brought such intimacy. His gentle touch against her cheek, or the sparkly, peaceful environment she has always dreamed of. She knew if there was someone she had ever wanted in her life, it would be this man, holding so much affection in his eyes towards her, and if their lips collided today, she was never going to let this man go away. Jungkook leaned in, carefully, ready to be pushed back, and inch by inch he got closer till their lips were against each other, and the next moment they were sharing a kiss. It was so beautiful Wine thought she was finally in heaven, met by an angel as a reward of everything she went through. Once the two pulled back, Jungkook kissed her forehead and brushed fingers through her hair. Jungkook, there's something I want you to know. He took out the keychain from his pocket and gave it to her, who had shocking expressions on her face. Wine, how do you have it? Jungkook, I saw you 2 years ago in a park, near dawn, crying and feeding a cat. Embarrassing. Wine mumbled. Jungkook, what I want you to know is I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for not giving up and growing yourself to be a beautiful version of yourself, the confident and the competitive one. You did great. Vine felt her eyes moistening up. It was the first time in a while she felt tears building up, but she blinked them away. She didn't say anything, but that was enough to make everything she went through feel worth it. The two stayed there in silence and admired the view. Once the two went home, Jungkook had informed her parents they were going with the wedding. Vine was glad she skipped the regular interrogation session with her parents and could finally go to rest without any interruption. That was the night she had the best sleep in her entire life, and she couldn't believe she slept 18 hours all at once without her parents interrupting her. Vine couldn't believe how everything went by so fast. His parents wanted them to get married as soon as they could, so they could leave for the States. She didn't meet Jungkook for the next days because he was currently busy with his business, so he could take a few days off nearing his wedding. It had been a few weeks, and tonight they both were supposed to meet. It was a family event where Jungkook was going to introduce her as his soon to be wife. He asked her to be his partner. She didn't reject, but she really didn't want to be there, a place she always runs away from. She knew her parents were going to be there too. They would text sometimes, but it was rare too, considering their packed up schedules. Jungkook had texted her and apologized for inconvenience when he certainly didn't have to. She sighed at his text. He apologized and said he still wanted to see her. A warm feeling filled her heart as she placed the cell phone back in her bag and stepped out of the car, reaching his mansion where the event was taking place. She went in beside her parents. It was the first time attending such event, and for the first time she was nervous about messing it up because she knew it directly affected his reputation which he earned with years of hard work. She was greeted with a couple or two by her parents before they met Jungkook's parents, and there he was, the sight she wanted to have the most, the man whose name was going to be tied with hers soon. He marched towards them, cool and collected steps, dressed in a black shirt, black blazer, and black pants. Black shoes and those black shiny hair pushed back so beautifully. It was a sin for someone to look this hot. Once he approached the family, Ryan saw the warm smile reflecting his eyes before he got back to his stern professional persona and he greeted his parents. Jungkook, good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Lee. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Ryan's parents brought up a huge smile as they greeted him back, patting his shoulder once in process. Jungkook turned towards Ryan as he extended his hand out for her. Jungkook, it's a pleasure to have you here as well, Ryan. She took his hand, which he brought up to his lips, and left a feather kiss while maintaining his eye contact with her. Jungkook's heart warmed up when he saw the flicker of blush appearing on her cheeks. Jungkook, please enjoy the evening. I'll be taking my date now, he said to everyone and slid his arm around Ryan's waist, walking away from there. She only admired how calmly he talked and managed everything throughout the evening as he introduced her as his soon to be wife to all those people present there. Jungkook handed a drink to Ryan as he took a break from social interaction and the two stood at a side now. He kept his hand on her waist and to her it was her biggest relief. Jungkook, it must be boring and uncomfortable. Ryan, I'm okay, don't worry about me. She shook her head as Jungkook turned to stand in front of her, facing her completely. Jungkook, you look beautiful, Ryan. She knew she hadn't felt these many emotions over 2 years as much as he made her feel at his every sentence and touch. The even Ryan was attending tonight, she saw a lot more beautiful ladies. She believed she could never compare to them, but she had seen herself through Jungkook's eyes. He would never get with any of them knowing the intention hidden behind those angelic faces. Jungkook, after the event, let me take you out for dinner. Ryan, won't there be dinner here? There will be. Jungkook smiled, fingers caressing her waist. But I would like to have it with you alone. Would you come with me? Ryan nodded and Jungkook's smile widened. The whole evening he made sure she was comfortable. The two had a dance too, and this time much comfortable with each other. If she had to name one person she wanted to be with, then it was Jungkook without a doubt. Ryan went to restroom, and by the time she returned, her eyes fell on her soon-to-be husband standing in a group of people. He was holding a glass of wine as he talked to them in his professional attitude. He had this talent of being the center of attention wherever he went. Praise his majestic beauty or his personality. The amount of eyes that were in him, including males and females, made her jealous, and she didn't know till now she would ever feel that emotion for someone. No one was ever hers, to start with, anyways, till now. She let him continue and decided to take that time to recharge her social battery, which ran out already. A lady, less of a woman and more of a goddess, approached her. She had a smile that could bloom flowers, and a body that could have all men fall on their knees, a true definition of beauty. Congratulations, Miss Ryan. I'm Linda. It's a pleasure to meet you, the lady said as she extended her hand. Ryan took it politely and shook it. Ryan, I'm Ryan. It's a pleasure to have you here. Linda, you're really lucky Jungkook chose you. Though it came out a surprise, you look quite young. Ryan knew it hit the spot. While the hall was filled with gorgeous, successful women, she was only a broke college student. Wine, I believe I'm lucky to have him by my side. Linda, there's a hall full of ladies waiting in line to get a single glance of affection by him. But he chose you, a teenager. He's so good at surprising people. That was a mock that hit the nerve. She bore her face but kept a polite face. That was all about these people she knew so well. Pretty faces and fucked up personalities. One, he probably couldn't find one compatible for him in this hall, so he had to choose one of his class to stand beside him. He's such a sweetheart. By that time, Jungkook was coming towards them too. The mocking remark by Linda had him furious, but he felt his anger turning into satisfaction at Vian's answer. That's when he knew she could protect herself. All she needed was to get out of her shell. The expressions on Linda's face was worth seeing, or maybe the highlight of the whole evening. She was truly beautiful, but being called an uncompatible and getting compared to a college student was the peak insult she has ever faced. Jungkook stopped beside Vian and his arm slid around her waist like he owned her. Am I disturbing the girl's talk? Vian, not at all. Once the two were done with the event, Jungkook took her for dinner as promised, and it was surprisingly a food franchise and he had got them to change into comfortable clothes. He thought she might like some casual outing with fast food and some famous boy band song playing on LED. And she did. When? I've seen you a few times on TV, though I don't remember what was it about. Dad turns on the news after breakfast and we all have to watch it together. Forcefully, of course. Jungkook, I see. I was not really a good experience for you then. She shook her head, taking a big bite of the huge burger in her hand. Wine, you had nothing to do about it. What I'm saying is, you are really famous. Jungkook chuckled and ordered another glass of soft drink for her once she finished the one in hand. Jungkook, I want to get you out of there. If you're comfortable, I will get them to set the date of wedding. Wine, I am okay with everything. If you're doing this, then might as well get done with this. I just want to get out of the place so badly. Mr. John, what are you talking about, Jungkook? It was a deal. Jungkook's father asked. Currently, Jungkook's and Ryan's family were gathered in Jungkook's home to set the marriage date and a few other details. Also, the contract of the business was going to be signed, and a commotion broke when Jungkook refused to let her father own the branch. Jungkook, I'm the sole heir of this business, and I'm capable of taking care of it myself. I have no plans of considering this offer for now, and I'm sure I won't be doing that in future either. Vine was sitting beside Jungkook, and while he stayed all calm, her father was getting angry. Vine's father. It was a deal, and I'm not letting you marry my daughter without this. Jungkook. She's an adult, and she can decide for herself. Vine never knew he was going to step back from the deal, but that oddly made her feel so respected and worth someone's affection. He was marrying her with respect, and not after some money and business deal. Vine's father shot a glare towards her that clearly said, "You made him do it." Her anxiety rose, because at the end of the day she had to return home to face them. Vine's father. I didn't know Jones could step back at their words too. Jungkook. We don't, unless it involves my wife's respect. Just because this contract marriage is not considered a big deal in our world, it is for me, and I refuse to be a part of this. Jungkook's mother. But Jungkook, he agreed to this. Jungkook, I only agreed to the date and the wedding, mom, not the contract. He shook his head. Despite the heated environment, where Ryan's father looked like he was going to murder someone, Jungkook was too calm, as if he was having his evening tea. Ryan's father, very well. Ryan, get up. We are leaving, and this relation ends here. He rose up, and so did everyone else. Jungkook, you can go with him, Ryan, but I would like to clear something. If a hand raises her way, let alone a loud voice, then I'm considering it domestic abuse. And you might have to face with the law and me personally, because I'm going to take her with me, with or without your permission. Jungkook could see from the corner of his eyes his parents were getting restless. For sure, the two families had great business and friendship relations, and he was ruining them. But he could deal with his parents later, and after he was done making sure his point in front of Ryan's father. Ryan's father, are you threatening me? Jungkook, not threatening, sir. I'm only informing you. Ryan's father stormed out of there, and so his wife followed him hurriedly. Jungkook turned towards Ryan, who bowed in respect to his parents, and God Jungkook pat her head, telling her she didn't need to be scared. He watched her following her parents shortly. Honestly, Jungkook expected much more to this. He expected them to cancel their friendship or the other little business deals they were working on too. But he didn't. Of course, he was not going in fall, especially after losing such a huge contract. And that only made Jungkook more disgusted of them. She didn't deserve them as her parents, and Jungkook was going to get her out of there soon. To be continued.